Hey, welcome, all my right thinkers. Thanks for tuning in to check out your boy, P-Funk. Thinking right out here in my lab, and yeah, I'm in the book. we going deep. Let's rock. I got a good lesson for you. Gonna be a little lengthy, but it's good information. You know how we do. Let's go. Right isms. 25 rules to live by. Storytelling. Story with a message. There's always a message in my stories for life. I give life lessons. You tune in to receive them. I appreciate you. We got a good thing going. Let's do what we do. Right thinking mission is to enlighten, inspire, educate, and motivate you, the individual, to a higher spiritual level of enlightenment. Right thinking way of life through mental and spiritual discipline. Practice daily will help and guide you to obtain your goal of reaching spiritual enlightenment, aka know thyself or self mastery. Let's go. My mission is that all right thinkers know thyself. If you're a right thinker, your goal is to, know thyself. See where we're going with this? Let's get there together. So I asked the question, do you know you? Well, when I get through, that's what I do for you, but it's rhetorical. And if you don't have an answer for yourself, tune in. I got you. A person who knows not and knows not that they know not is foolish. Disregard them. A person who knows not and knows that they know not is simple, but you can teach them. That's why I do what I do for you. Appreciate you too. Stay tuned. I got more for you. A person who knows not and believe and think that they know is dangerous. Avoid them. I do. A person who knows and knows not that they know is spiritually asleep. I can awaken them. I'm a spiritual alarm clock here to wake you up with knowledge of self. That's what I do for you. A person who knows and knows that they know is wise. Follow them. All these persons reside in you. Right thinkers, know thyself. Hey, to Maya, be true. Maat was a philosophy or religion in Africa that had another tribe called the Ubuntu. This was their flag. You see Maat right there leading the way. It's a form of what they call humanism. So, right there, let's talk about P-Funk's philosophy on the foundation of Maat philosophy. Let's talk about how it operates, what's the purpose behind it. And Ubuntu, they have the philosophy they practice, which is compatible or almost same as the Maya philosophy. But it's all about humanism. Let's talk about it. Now, it says, this is some information you might not be privy to. Watch this. After centuries of trying to stop the practice of African religions and convert Africans to Christianity, the Catholic Church reversed itself and at the 1964 Vatican Second Conference of Bishops in Rome officially accepted African religion into the family of world religions as a full partner. Let that sink in. But on a visit, and the reason why, on a visit to Benin, a lot of people don't know what the whole Benin is. They built the biggest wall ever, and they came and British tore it down. But after a visit to Benin, Pope John Paul II apologized for centuries of denigration of African religion and its people by the Western culture. African religion is universally accepted now as a distinct and legitimate form of what they call spirituality and continues to be practiced by a substantial number of people in outside of Africa. It is practiced by many who, on one hand, profess to be converts to Western religions, while at the same time retaining the practice of some aspects of our African religion in their personal life. They got to do it on the low, so to speak, okay? But one reason for its persistence is the quality of humanism that characterizes it. Why? When you trying to collectively take care of the people as a whole, that means nobody's left behind. We don't do that now. We got moving on. Homeless, begging people, but and the civilization back then, humanism, there'd be nobody in need. Why? Somebody took care of them. We took care of each other. Watch this. We're getting there. But this is the practice of religion. Watch this. In the African term, Ubuntu, it means humanism. Okay? Humanism is a fundamental concern for who? For the human condition. They looked out for each other. My man in Iran Traore, he had free education, free hospitalization, and free living for the people. Where they didn't have roads at one time, man, they growing by leaps and bounds. So yeah, changing condition by what? Implementing humanism. We all work together for the common good. We had the village mentality when I was growing up. Everybody knew each other. Everybody worked together to keep the hood safe and balanced. We did that. But caring for what? Fellow human beings, right there, with respect to their with respect to their well-being. But also it means a kind of openness, hospitality, and compassion, empathy for those in need. We got people who could care less about the needy. Okay, those who are greedy, they don't give a damn about those in need. Why? They worry about getting theirs and holding on to theirs, so they separate themselves. They don't care. That's when society is where we are right now, messed up. So the quality of Ubuntu has had the effect of tempering the harshness of others' religions. Why? But as well as bringing to the forefront the sufferings and the needs of others, and sometimes the iniquities that are endured by others. So Ubuntu is a kind of empathy and sympathy for others as a community, and a heartfelt desire to share with others who are less fortunate. We're gonna get to that in a minute. If you practice in Maat, this is what you need to be doing. I'm gonna get to that in a minute. But one important example for the effect of the African religion and its quality of Ubuntu is the Aldura Church, where in Yoruba. In this church, the Christian emphasis on salvation has given way to what they call an approach that is more in line with the traditional needs of the people. What they need may not be our needs. Okay? So the priest functions as diviners of God, healers, and ritual leaders. Sound like the priests, right? Yeah, that's their job. But the concept of humanism may be best expressed in the following quotation. I got two phrases I'm going to tell you about. One is from my man Desmond Tutu, our bishop back in 64, I think it was. Okay, when he won the Nobel Peace Prize, 84, excuse me. Let's talk about this. It says here, listen to this. The African belief is basically the humanistic belief that doing good is good, while doing anything bad, again, is bad. And you are rewarded. What do you get for being good here on earth for good deeds? And the same person who rewards you for doing good deeds is going to punish you for your iniquities, aka indeed your bad. And many Africans believe that the ultimate punishment for bad sinners, iniquitous behavior is death. Yep. That's from a freelance journalist who came up with that concept out of Ghana. Now, this is South Africa's Archbishop Desmond Tutu concept. You know when it is there, and it is obvious when it is not there, absent. It has to do with what it means to be what? Truly human. It refers to the gentleness, to the compassion, to the hospitality, to the openness to others, to be vulnerable, to being available for others, and to know that you are bound up with them in a bundle of this thing we call life. For a person, watch this, the best part right here. For a person is only a person. How? To other persons. That's beautiful. I love that. How you know we good? Taking care of the people. Simple. That's what we do. That's from my man that won the Nobel Peace Prize in 1984. But now when you compare what we call the concepts of Ubuntu religion and the Kemetic concept of what we call Ari Mayat. Mayatian actions is found to be what? Very, or no, every way compatible with this concept of humanism. There you go. And or social awareness and caring for one another as a whole. Nobody's left behind. If they're in need, we supplying it. If they don't have it, we make sure they get it. We don't do that no more. What's this? This is Mayat. Mayat philosophy, which we practice right thinkers, is a spiritual symbol as well as a cosmic energy or what we know to be a force which pervades the entire universe we know to be God. Mayat is the path to promoting world order, justice, righteousness, correctness, harmony, reciprocity, and peace. Those are all qualities that you can stand on and better yourself. Mayat is also the path that represents wisdom and your spiritual awakening through what? Balance and equanimity in one's thoughts and actions, as well as righteous living and offering selfless service to who? Humanity. I'm doing all those things. I'm living up to the Mayat. I practice this. That's why I do it. I understand it wholeheartedly. So, Mayat encompasses certain disciplines, I call them spiritual disciplines, which right action, again, leads to what? Right thinking, right thoughts lead to right action, and which promotes purity of one's heart and a balanced mind, thinking right and left hemisphere, not just one side of your mind. And most women use the right. Most men use the left. Women are from Venus, men are from Mars, that concept. Yeah, but how about you balance them and be from right now, the present, Maya? Have understanding from both sides and then make a decision based on what's best for you. That's how you should live. Maya is represented as a goddess with a feather held to the side of her head by a bandana that she's sometimes depicted with wings. Okay, you see it here. This is her with the staff and the ankh. This is her as an offering at the highest. This is her as the dual Mayate, which is I said in that the twins representing her in the halls of Mayat at Judgment Day. At Judgment Day, you have to have mortality and immortality. That represents mortality. I said represents immortality. It's a package deal. You can't have one without the other. They go together. Hence, they was twins. See, symbolism is bad, mamma jamma. Where we at? So when compared to Imbu, I did that already. Yeah, come down here. I'm at the end on the other end. Okay, yeah, it says right here. Now, Mayat is represented by the goddess with the feather side of her head. Yeah, and she also sometimes depicted with the wings. But a papyrus scepter in one hand and holding the ankh in the other. I showed you that picture. The ankh represents the symbol of life, and all of them carried it in their right hands pretty much. And in Kemet, watch this. This is how important Mayat was. In Kemet, the judges were initiated into the teachings of Mayat. Why? Because only when there is justice and fairness in society can there be an abiding harmony and peace amongst society. We don't have that. The scale that we use is imbalanced. Why? It's favoring a certain race of people, aka white race, privilege, white privilege. They get the benefit because they're white, so they use that as their weapon to put them in charge and call all the shots. Moving on. But the whole says that you got to live in harmony and peace with yourself. Harmony and peace are necessary for the pursuit of what we know to be true happiness and inner fulfillment in life. If you think things in life are going to bring you that, it won't. True harmony is knowing thyself. And thus, the Kamisha's spirituality always includes a spiritual discipline for societal order and harmony, not unlike the Confucianism or in China or the Dharma in India. We had free thinkers. You was able to think and function by the practice and the philosophy that we laid out for you. Mayat promotes social harmony. Like I said, 3,000 years of harmony practice in Mayat. And also personal virtue, which leads to spiritual enlightenment. If you got a bunch of spiritually enlightened people, you got peace, harmony amongst those people. okay, as a society, excuse me. But when you have unbalanced and ignorant people, what the hell going on and living together, there's not going to be harmony. You won't have no harmony. And that's why society right now is not harmonious at all. We got racism, we got all kinds of stuff, sexism. It's always some ism, okay? It's always somebody against somebody. But many people are aware of what we call the laws or the precepts of Maat. And they are really declarations of the purity, also known as the negative confessions. I usually call it by negative confessions, meaning I have not done these things. Okay, so and it's found in the Commission Book of Enlightenment, aka the Book of Coming Forth by Day, or some people call it the Book of the Dead. It was taken from people's graves. They was grave robbers, and which a person who has lived a life of what righteousness can utter. Excuse me, God. There you go. I'm gonna do something about that. Write it out. All right, but at the time of what we have, they call a great judgment. What's that? After death, you had to have your heart weighed against the feather of Maat to see how you live. Everybody go through. So whatever you think, how you feel, means nothing because they're gonna take this, and that's what's gonna be answered for you. Okay, but all other precepts that concerns moral and ethical rectitude in all aspects of your life, which leads one to social order. If everybody followed by the rules, lived by the rules, everybody would be fine. They proved that. Order leads to prosperity. Order leads to prosperity and harmony. If every individual had that, that would permeate. That's the whole point. When we go to church, I'm in a spiritual environment where I receive what I call spiritual love. Everybody's there for the same reason, same purpose. But you don't even get that in church. You don't get that just walking up and down the street. You don't get that you don't get that any and everywhere. That's the difference in societal. It's not societal. As an adjunct to the 42 precepts, there are other injunctions given in the wisdom text of the book. These in turn are elaborated in the tomb inscriptions in ancient Egypt. In chapter 125, the book of Coming Forth by Day, it says the person utters these declaration statements. And if you are a Maat, possibly follower, these are the premises which you want to stand on. I have done God's will. Meaning what? I have given bread to the hungry. I have given water to the thirsty. I have clothed the clothesless. I have a boat to those who were shipwrecked. I made the prescribed offerings to the gods and the goddesses, and I also made offerings in the temple to the glorious spirits. Therefore, protect me when I go to face the God of eternity. That's what they wanted to make sure they had everything covered, all the bases, all the T's crossed and the I's dotted, because they wanted to pass the test of life that they live a righteous and purpose life. At the end, when it's being judged by what? The contents of one's heart. That's your character. Everything comes from there. The brain, they don't care about your conscience. This means nothing after death. Throw it away. They don't even keep it. They throw it away. Okay. So the following, let me get this one right there. But the following tomb inscriptions were carved into the walls of those people who profess to have lived a righteous and virtuous life and orderly life. Central to this order and virtue are the acts of righteousness, selfless service, and at the highest form of what we call right action is the selfless service that we give. That is all of the things a person, every individual, can do to uphold the truth, order, and righteousness during their lives. You are put into position. This is the test. How'd you do? We find out at Judgment Day. When it's all said and done, we find out how you did. Okay? In the test, you prepare, you prepare, you prepare. They were living, preparing for death, so they had to be prepared. Why? So they could pass the feather test of Maat. So they lived right. They practiced righteous living. The following is a summary of how I read Maat, which will be followed by a brief gloss on the Maat selfless service. That's the lesson I'm about to give you. The actions of a person who profess to be living by Maat or right thinking, you should include these things. First, it says, Nuke, ready Maat. That means to give righteousness, order, and truth to humanity. Maat is the ancient art of ethical conduct. She represents moral righteousness, righteous living, and virtue and truth. Those are character builders. Those are things that you can manifest for yourself, within yourself. That's what she's giving you. And you being a right thinker and aspiring, your job is to learn to think right and then to act right with what? Honesty, integrity, and truthfulness to promote a positive self-development. That's a mouthful, but all those are qualities that you can inherit and practice, and that will raise your consciousness and your character to a whole nother level, which will translate into the becoming reliable person, a responsible leader, and a member of society. If everybody in society living right, following the rules, who's the lawbreaker? Where's the bad people? Okay, when you're bad and everybody's good, you stick out like a sore thumb. Moving on. We use it as color barrier. If they're black, it's bad. If it's white, it's good. That's the worst dumb thing in the world. Deal with them by character. Like Martin said, we should be judged by the character, not the color of our skin. Yeah, we know that, but that's been a foregone conclusion. But let's wrap this up right quick. I got a few more to go. Now, it says here, the second one, she says, Nuke, ready, Tana, Heka. Nuke, ready, move, in, opt. That means I gave food to the hungry and I gave water to the thirsty. When you practice what you say, when your words match your actions, that's Maat. That's balance. That's self-mastery. That's how you do it. That's what you do it for. And it says here, working on your personal to eradicate hunger and thirst in your community. That means you help out the needy. My old man told me about the Jews when I was a kid. You never see a Jew do bad. Why? Because if he goes down, his friends will pick him up. His friends will help him out. They won't talk about him and scorn him and make him an outcast. No, they help each other. I ain't got a problem with that. We used to do that in the community back in the day. Not no more. My man help more people than you can shake a stick at. But and also you really working on what? Well hunger should be primary goals of a person living, professing by Maat or right thinking philosophy. Hunger is what prevents humanity from achieving its higher goals of what? Peace and harmony amongst all. You separate the haves from the have-nots. That's not good. But hunger is a source of suffering and early death for millions of people around the world. When sharing food and drink are primary ways of showing compassion and promoting caring between human beings, hello, and societies. This promotes peace and it prevents conflicts. We so far from that, it's unbelievable. I got a couple more here. It says here, Nuke, ready, het, and anhet. Give shelter to the homeless. We don't do that. We don't do that. Working to provide homes for the homeless and alleviating the homeless situation in society should be a priority. According to who? What's right, but not the people in power. So for a person living by Maat, because all human beings require a proper place to dwell so that they can live well, order, and comfortable lives. Lack of shelter gives rise to what? Discomfort, and discomfort leads to strife. We perpetrate that. Why? We see it all the time everywhere. And next one, I'm going to wrap this one up. And I got one more yet. Okay, here we go. Okay, this is a good one. Nuke, ready, and Ahu. Give comfort to the weepers, suffering, the disheartened. People who on the corner, down and out on their luck. I don't judge and critique them. If I got it, they can get it. But it ain't my job to support somebody else's misfortunes or bad habits. Pain and suffering are what? Are all too prevalent in human life. But how do you get to that point? Usually, you the one who caused it. That's why you the one that got suffered through it. One of the concerns of a person living by Maat should be to promote compassion, empathy, and consolation to people who are suffering due to any reason, and to promote immediate psychological support, refuge, moral support for those in need. I'm hearing orphan that daily. That's all as far as I'm going with that. I'm just, moving on. Okay. Nuk ready netu genu ka nekatu. It means give protection to the weak from the strong. One of the main concerns of a person, again, living by Maat, should be your social justice, the protection of the weaker members of society who are victims of crimes or who are less able to help themselves when confronted with other members of society. The goal is to assist people by standing with them to provide moral and legal or other assistance when you can without causing hurt, harm, or danger to yourself or your loved ones. There's a limit on go to help somebody out. That's that point is. And yeah, y'all, as a Mason, we call it the cable talk. Okay? If you started choking me, I can't afford that. I'm not going to allow that. I control that. Last one. Nu Rik Akumun. It means give wisdom, counseling to the ignorant. I try to inform you every day. That's my way of taking care of the problem right here. One of the main goals of a person living and practicing right thinking philosophy by the Maat, you should be to train others, human beings, in the precepts of Maat. I'm not here every day preaching the 42 confessions. I point you to them. I try to tell you about it. You should go and read them and have your understanding of them. I get a lesson, I get it a few times, but yeah, you can find that in anywhere. 42 confessions, precepts of Maat, negative confessions, whichever you want to call it, they got them. They just modernized it too. I did the update for that too. But when you live the precepts of Maat, and it's meant to raise leaders who will study the ancient philosophy, that's what I did, and you will be able to transmit it to others. That's what I do daily in society. I'm living up to the billing so far. This will promote the formation and growth of what? A well-informed segment of the population. My right thinkers, we're doing what we need to do. Those who ain't doing that, we can't speak for them, but I think I'm doing the best I could at what I got for you. So, in the population who will be able to promote peace, justice, understanding that leads to spiritual enlightenment if practiced daily. That's what the Maat Philosophy Institute. The lessons you learn, you have to implement them, practice in your day-to-day life. That's what you live right. And take it from Mr. Right. It works. Why? I do it. Hope you enjoyed the lesson. I'll be right back. I got some more for you. You know how we do. In closing, right there, because man, you all live to be 100, me 100 miles a day. So I never know that my right thinkers who now understand the Maat Ubuntu philosophy of ancient Africa humanism have passed away. I'll be right back. This is getting good. I don't know how you feel, but I'm enjoying this.